Most of these videos start out with some rich, entitled kid pulling up in a Lamborghini wearing Gucci, or by the pool of his mansion telling you how he became a millionaire at 20 years old and how you can too with some new internet system you can use to generate wealth. Well, this is not one of those videos. What they fail to mention is that their family is wealthy, the Lamborghini is a day rental, and that mansion, it's an Airbnb. Oh, and he just spent his entire rent money on that Gucci tracksuit. This video is about a guy who has been hustling 80 hours a week since the age of 16, about failing time and time again but never giving up, and about learning how to gain financial freedom and working because of passion and not because of the money. This video is about me. Hi, I'm Connor Ashley. I'm a financial minimalist, and this is how I retired at 24 years old. My family was always, living paycheck to paycheck, working for every dollar that they had, and honestly spending it all. They weren't happy, they were oftentimes struggling, and I was sort of exposed to this lifestyle where you're struggling to make ends meet because you're living paycheck to paycheck, a very middle-class lifestyle, but living beyond your means. And on the flip side, a lot of my extended family was very wealthy. And so I was exposed to these luxuries of wealth, these nice cars, nice houses, mansions, vacations, yachts, all of these things, on top of being exposed to what it's like to live middle class and live paycheck to paycheck and, to struggle financially. I grew up seeing these two polar opposite things and seeing how my family wasn't very happy because they were always struggling, whereas on the other hand, all my wealthy, family looked so happy, and it sort of showed me that money equals happiness, and having all these nice luxurious things meant they were happy, or at least that's what I thought growing up. And because that's how I was sort of raised in this environment, in this polar opposite sort of viewpoint, I immediately didn't want to be like my family. I didn't want to have to struggle. I didn't want to live paycheck to paycheck because I thought I would be happy if I was on the other side of the coin, if I was rich, if I had a lot of money, if I had nice cars, if I had mansions, if I got to go on vacation. I thought that that would make me happy. So by the time I was 16, I decided that I was going to start working a lot. And I was working multiple part-time jobs, working upwards of 60 hours a week, 80 hours a week, just so that I could have all this money, because I thought that's what would make me happy and mean I was successful. So I oftentimes sought out performance-based jobs where you get a salary and then you get commission based on how your performance is. And so that's what I really focused on. And I was making a lot of money since the age of 16 years old. And I think when I was, 18, I was working for a telemarketing company, and I was making like $2,000 a week, like cash, check in my hand, $2,000 to $3,000 every single week. It was an absurd amount of money. But the thing is that I was literally spending everything. I was spending all of it. I would get $2,000. Even at 16, I was making like $1,000 a week, and I would spend it all. I would spend it all because I thought that's what you were supposed to do, because, my parents, they didn't have nice cars. We didn't live in a mansion. We didn't have a boat. We didn't go on these elaborate vacations all the time. So I thought if I had those things, that would mean I'm successful. That would mean I'm rich. So I worked really hard, made a lot of money, and started spending it all. And I was also very entrepreneurial. So I always was trying different businesses and starting businesses, and basically all of them failed. So while I was working multiple jobs, making a decent amount of money, going to school, starting businesses, I was making a lot of money and spending all of it. So I was spending it on nice clothes. I'd go shopping all the time. I'd go out to dinner to nice restaurants every single night. I'd go for brunch. I'd get Starbucks every single day, multiple times a day. I had, a decently nice car. I lived in an apartment that was way too expensive, that was nice and luxurious and had a pool and was right downtown and had a great view and all these things. And I was just spending all my money, wasting all my money. And I thought that that meant I was successful, that I was rich, and that I had all these nice things. But in reality, I was right where my parents were, where they were struggling every week, and it felt like every month that my rent came around, I spent all of my money on my rent. And then I'd make more and spend it all on clothes or on a hotel room or on a vacation to the mountains or something like that. So during this time, I had started and failed numerous businesses, and then I started a vacation rental management and hospitality consulting company. And when I started this company, I didn't know what was going to happen. I thought it was just going to be another failure and have to start over again with something new. But what ended up happening was it was actually doing very well. And I, of course, was working another full-time job and a part-time job on top of doing all this, and kept up with my lifestyle of making a lot of money and spending it all. And the business kept growing and growing and growing. And then it got to a point where the business had grown, but I wasn't able to manage it, and we weren't able to manage it because I was working multiple other jobs at the same time trying to get all of this money. And with a business, I know that I have to take whatever money it's making and invest it back into the business to keep growing. So it came to a point where I had to decide between my business or my income from all my other jobs. And I decided that in an effort to grow this business, I was going to have to quit all my other jobs. And at this point, I was working 80 hours a week, making a lot of money, spending a lot of money, but my business wasn't growing to how it could. So I had to quit all my jobs and leave all that income behind. And this was the real turning point for me. When I went full-time for my business, I knew I was going to have to sacrifice my life and my lifestyle for a couple of years to be able to build $1 million business. And then I would go back to how it was, right? And that was always in my mind. I'm going to sacrifice for 2 years to make $1 million business, become a millionaire, and then I'll be rich again, and I'll be able to buy all the nice things I like, and it's going to be even better, and I'm going to be able to go to nicer vacations and go out of the country and go to Fiji and go get a yacht and fly on a private jet and all these things. And I thought, okay, I just need 2 years of sacrifice of living on a lower income and getting rid of a lot of the luxuries that I love to be able to, in 2 years, become a millionaire and become super wealthy and have a really nice thing. And so I quit my job, and I was living on a salary of $2,000 a month. So I went from, $6,000 a month and spending it all to now only having $2,000 a month. So my lifestyle was drastically changed by that. But remember, in the back of my mind, I thought, okay, only 2 years of this, and then the company will be worth millions of dollars, and then I'll be rich again. Well, this is sort of the turning point. And over the next 2 years, I didn't think that this would happen, but what happened was I started living on the $2,000 a month, and I thought, wow, I'm really not any less happy. That extra $4,000 or $6,000 wasn't adding value to my life. And on this $2,000 a month, I'm really happy, and I have everything I want, and I actually ended up lowering my budget a little bit and lowering my expenses, and I had money left over, and I wasn't living paycheck to paycheck, and that brought me happiness, and that made me feel successful. So it was during that time that I became a financial minimalist, and I learned that I should only buy things that actually make me happy. And for the past years, when I've been spending all this money that I was making, it wasn't bringing me happiness. After 2 years of doing this, the business grew and expanded, and it ended up being worth 7 figures. And when that happened, I realized that I didn't want to spend all this money, and I didn't need to spend all this money, and I was just as happy on the $2,000 that I had been living on. And even though I have more money now, it didn't make me want to spend any more money. It didn't make me feel any more successful or any better spending it all on things that didn't bring me happiness. And what I learned was that my happiness wasn't dependent on how much money I was making or how many nice things I was buying. My happiness was just being able to have what I truly valued and afford what I really care about and what actually brings me happiness. And not about all these other things that were causing me to live paycheck to paycheck, because that didn't make me happy. And So when I finally got to my goal, I realized that I didn't want to spend it. And that wasn't what was making me happy. That life isn't about money and making money and spending money. It's just about being happy. And if you can be happy on less, then that's, a success in my opinion. Our business definitely slowed down, and I realized that I was okay with that and that I didn't need all this money. And so I basically became retired, and I haven't made an income since August or September, and I'm okay with that because I have everything I need, everything I value, and I have enough money to sustain my life, my lifestyle, and buy everything that makes me happy. To me, being retired means having financial freedom. It means being comfortable with your finances and financially responsible and knowing what you value and what to spend your money on and where you're going to get the best ROI with your money and where you're going to feel happy as spending your money, and not having to work for your money. Instead, working because you're passionate about something and not working because you need to pay your bills. That to me is what it means to be retired. And that to me is what it means to be successful, is being happy with what you have and realizing that buying all these things and living a lifestyle that you can't keep up with isn't going to make you happy. The media, the advertisers, the marketing companies, all of those companies are doing such a good job at selling to us what it means to be successful, what it means to be wealthy, and what it means to be happy. And that money and wealth and success will make you happy. And they're doing a really good job at that. And what we're taught through that is that to be successful means to have nice things, to have fancy cars, to be able to go on vacations all the time and go out to nice restaurants and all of these things. But in reality, that isn't what success is. Because to get those things, you have to spend a lot of money. You have to work very hard to make all that money just to spend it all. And many people who have these nice things are truly living paycheck to paycheck. Now, not everyone, but a lot of people are trying to keep up with this image of having nice things because that means they're successful. But in reality, they're not successful because at the end of the day, they're spending all their money on these things that don't make them happy. I truly believe that being successful to me means having everything I want and being happy with that. But you really need to figure out what it is that you want. And do you want that fancy BMW because you're told to want it? Because you're told that means you're successful? Or because you get to show off to your friends about how successful you are? Or do you want it because you truly, truly want it? Now, for me, I want a nice place to live. And I want a nice place to live for myself. So that's what I choose to spend my money on. But all these other things don't matter to me. I don't care if I wear the same Hawaiian shirt every day. I don't care. I don't care that I don't have a car because I'm happy taking taxis, or I'm happy riding my bike, and I'm happy walking places. I get enjoyment out of that, and a car doesn't bring me enjoyment. A car brings me stress because I have to take it to the mechanic, and it costs so much money, and I have to repair it and take care of it, and all these things. That doesn't make me happy. So you need to figure out what you truly want and what's going to make you happy. Because I'm happy and I have everything I want. And it's because I figured that out early that I was able to retire, and that I was able to work because I'm passionate about what I do, and not work because I need money, and not have to worry about money, and having the financial freedom to know that the last 6 months I haven't made $1, and I'm very happy, and I have everything I want, and I have the money to sustain myself. And at this point in my life, I'm 24. What the hell am I going to do all day? I'm not going to go play golf all day. I don't even like golf. At this point in my life, what I'm doing now and what I'm learning now after 5-6 months of doing not much is that I want to do things now that make me happy, and I want to do work that I'm passionate about. So I have a few social media clients that I love working with, and I love helping them grow on social media. And, we work with a very few select hospitality clients, and I'm passionate about that, and I love that. And I'm doing work that I think is making a difference, or that is doing something good for somebody else, or that makes me happy and that I'm passionate about. I make YouTube videos because I like doing this and I'm passionate about it, and I want to share what I learned at a young age with everyone else so that they can live financially free and retired early and not have to spend their entire lives working just to be able to buy all of these things that mean or that show you're successful, or this image of success that isn't true. This is the story about how I retired at 24 years old. And maybe it's not the luxurious, over-the-top video that you were expecting, but this is real. And this is relatable and something that anyone can achieve. Financial freedom is something that everyone should strive for, but you really have to look inward and think about what truly makes you happy and what you value enough to spend your hard-earned money on. And what makes me happy is spending my money on things that I truly love and not having to worry about my finances. That's what brings me happiness. And I think I was lucky to learn that at a young age and became a financial minimalist so that I can now live the life that I love and that I want and not have to worry about money. And I'm just here to say that you can do it too. And maybe you can't retire when you're 24. Maybe it'll take 5, 10, 15 years, but if you start today, think about what your goals are, figure out what truly makes you happy and what you value the most in life, then you're going to be financially free. And you don't have to think about retirement in the traditional sense. Think about it as being free from money and free from working for money, and that way you can work on what you're truly passionate about. Alrighty guys, if you have made it this far, please comment anything down below. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. Like the video and subscribe to my channel for tons of content all about finances, minimalism, real estate, and investing. Check me out on Instagram at @theconnorashley, and I'll see you guys in the next one.